Hey everybody, today is January the 7th and we've got kind of a unusual situation today. In the wintertime, it's never calm. And I don't know if you can see the water behind me, but today we've got light winds. The seas are only 1 to 2 feet out on the reef. And I've got Aaron with me and we're gonna go out and drop some baits on a wreck out there called the Thunderbolt. It's a 182 foot ship sunk in 120 feet of water. And we're going to go out there and see what we can catch on the Thunderbolt and maybe do a little trolling for wahoo or kingfish. So come along with us. Hopefully we'll catch some fish. We've trolled over the wreck 3 or 4 times with some diving plugs, but we've got some spear fishermen in the water behind us. You probably can see them over there. They're sitting right on top of the wreck, so we're probably not going to have any luck with that until they move. Real smart move too. They got about 4 divers in the water, no dive flag. You can barely even see the guys out in the water. Stupid move. Anyway, we're gonna keep trying. If these guys move, we may drop some baits down on top of the wreck, see what we get. So I had to voice over this part. The wind was blowing so hard out there, we were just getting tossed around. The waves actually kind of kicked up a little bit for an otherwise pretty calm day, but we were getting tossed around. We saw these guys on a 22 Pathfinder, about 100 yards from us. We've been watching them for a while, and the guys were hooked up and fighting a fish, and they must have fought this fish for at least a half hour. And we knew they had something big on, so we kind of kept an eye on them and watched them, and lo and behold, the guys got the fish on the boat. We saw them get the net out, and I'm telling you what, we knew it was a huge fish. We couldn't see it from where we were, but we knew it was a huge fish. We could see them holding it up. We just couldn't tell what kind of fish it was. Well, as it turns out, it was an African Pompano. I went back and looked at the footage later and slowed some things down and, was able to zoom in close enough to see they had a huge African Pompano on. And I looked it up online. The world record for an African Pompano is 50 pounds. And if you look at this fish, I'm not positive that fish might not go 50 pounds. These guys are bumping really close to a world record if they don't have one. That's an excellent fish right there. So we're pretty pumped up for those guys, and I know they'll be excited to get that thing back and get it weighed. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. We're a long way from their boat. I zoomed in, could barely hold the camera on them, but those guys have got a huge fish. Couldn't even tell what it was from here. I'll check the video when I get home. They got themselves a trophy right there. Looks like a nice one. I'll try to get you a shot of this boat out in front of us right here. It's a big sport fisher, and they just put a kite out, so I guess they're probably fishing for sailfish, maybe some kings. But I'm gonna try to get a shot of this boat and show you what it looks like when they put their kites out. So what they're doing with that kite is they take a line, that line goes up to the kite, and the kite has a breakaway swivel on it or a breakaway clip on it, and then the line goes down to the water and they're skimming a bait right on top of the water. So the kite goes way up in the air, hangs the bait down, and just gets the bait way back behind the boat or off to the side of the boat. And the bait, generally a live bait, probably a ballyhoo or a pilchard or something along those lines, maybe even a big blue runner. They'll just skim that bait right along the top of the water using that kite, and the big sailfish, kingfish come up and hit that bait right on the surface. It's a really widely used tactic down here that I've not yet learned to do, but I will. We got a giant on. Mackerel. Spanish mackerel. That's hilarious. Hey, it's not bad. I thought it was dead. Man, dude, full drag. Unbelievable. So Aaron got him a whopper. We didn't even know it was on.
I thought it was dead. I pulled it in. Didn't feel like anything was on the line. As soon as I got it up to the boat, there was a nice fish on there.
We got a, I don't know, 18 or 20 inch Spanish mackerel. That'll make some good fish dip.
Looks good.
But it's getting choppy out here. I guess you can probably see. It's getting pretty gnarly. It's actually not that bad, but it's just uncomfortable to sit still in. So we're gonna run back inshore, maybe try to hit a snapper hole or two, some mangroves. So we'll see what happens.
So we'd given up on fishing. We reeled in the lines, and this sucker was on the end. He'd give it up. He lost all fight in him.
All right, so the way you tell the difference between a Spanish mackerel and a Cero mackerel, which almost looks exactly like this. See the little dots, the yellow dots?
Yeah.
Spanish have yellow dots. The Cero have dots and dashes, all down the side.
Morse code.
Yeah, so it does. It looks like Morse code. Yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna get this Spanish mackerel out. We're gonna clean it up, and I'm gonna put it on the Traeger smoker. We're gonna smoke it for an hour or so, maybe a couple hours. I don't know how long this is gonna take. And we're gonna make a fish dip recipe that I saw on the internet. Try it out. Hopefully I can get everything ready tonight. If everything works out, I'll bring you along for that and show you how we make the fish dip. Give Mr. Pelican some food here. If you guys can see him down there in the water, he's gonna want some food. Here you go, guy. You can have one too. You're welcome. All right, we'll slap a little seasoning on this and put it on the Traeger. See what we end up with. All my camera gear smells like fish. I guess you can see why. So I'm gonna turn the Traeger on smoke, just like that. We'll let that heat up. Get around here where we get some good light. We'll let that heat up, see what we get. All right. So I've never made this before, only read about it. Ooh, I can already feel the bones in there. I'm gonna have to pick those out, but I think I'm gonna do that after I smoke it. And this is just gonna be a little bit of fish dip. There's only 4 of us here tonight, so we'll have this as an appetizer. A little Everglades seasoning. That stuff's good on just about anything, but especially fish. That looks good, and maybe I've been putting the Shapley's on everything, and I'll tell you what, this may be my new favorite seasoning. We'll put a little Shapley's. About like that. And I'm just gonna put that right on the smoker, just like that, skin side down. So the wind's blowing out here, and the Traeger's on, so everything is pretty loud. You know, I always thought mackerel was like a real oily, bloody fish. To be honest, I've never even cleaned a mackerel before. I just don't mess with them. And look how white that fish is. I mean, that's awfully good looking. I think this is going to do really good. So we'll see. The Traeger, we're at 189 on the Traeger. I think it's ready. I'm going to put the fish on here. Put it right here on the front. I can get to it easy. Just like that. For all you guys cooking on a pellet grill, let me show you something that I have stumbled on that works like a charm. Sometimes the pellet grills don't put a whole lot of smoke flavor in your food. I'm used to doing barbecue on a stick smoker where I've got a real wood fire, and most of the time that gives me all the smoke flavor I want. But on the pellet grills, especially if you're cooking at higher heat, you get a lot of heat and you are burning pellets like that. I don't know if you can see those. That's what the pellet grills use to create the heat. But I don't always get the smoke in it that I really want. So I found this little smoke tube on Amazon. They're like 10 bucks. Stainless steel smoke tubes. You light the top of this thing, let it burn for about 10 minutes, get a good bunch of coals going in there, and then just lay it down inside your pellet grill, and this thing will put the smoke to it. So if you're having trouble getting your smoke flavor that you're looking for out of your pellet grills, this right here has done the trick for me. My commercial pellet grill back in Georgia, it's a big, huge one. I can do about 30 Boston butts on it at a time, and this right here is a lifesaver. This makes my Boston butts perfect. This will burn for about 2 or 3 hours, and lots and lots of smoke comes out of this. I really like this thing. So it's been an hour. Let's see what we're looking like. So I'm just going to pick these bloodlines out of it and try to get any bones out. All right, so I'm going to put the fish dip together now, and this was just a recipe I got online. So what I've got in it, I'm going to put about a tablespoon of mayonnaise. I'm going to put about a tablespoon of sour cream. I'm going to put this whole thing of whipped, what is this? Philadelphia cream cheese whipped chive flavor. About 3 drops of liquid smoke, a little paprika, and a little pepper, and we're going to see where we end up from there. All right, well, there it is. The girls approve. We're going to leave it alone.
So good.
I added some green onions to it. It was the only thing I added to it. It's a little bit too creamy, maybe. I would have maybe a little bit more fish. You're good with it?
I like creamy. It just needs to be cold.
All right.
Always chill your fish dip before you serve it. It will not taste right unless you chill it.
Okay. Well, there you have it. 1 Spanish mackerel, 1 bowl of fish dip.
Woohoo!
So after we got the fish dip done, this is what I made for dinner. So we had the fish dip, and now we're having bow tie pasta and a garlic butter sauce with shrimp, scallions and tomatoes, and Parmesan cheese. Awesome. Well, that puts a wrap on a pretty fun day with Aaron out fishing. We only fished for a couple hours, and we only had the 1 mackerel, so it was a pretty slow day, but thought it was pretty cool anyway. And the word on the fish dip, I'm not super happy with it. I think we can do a lot better. The girls really liked it. I just thought it was okay. So I'll keep trying on that. If I come up with a really good recipe, I'll make sure I post that for you guys in another video. Thanks so much for watching, and join us on our next adventure. See ya.